FBI's Foreign Influence Task Force inappropriately briefed me and Senator Johnson. That briefing was later used to falsely tie our Biden family investigation to, you can expect it, Russian disinformation. Our investigation was based on records from both the Obama and the Biden administrations, along with various bank records. Over 4 years later, the FBI has yet to provide us the underlying intelligence that they said formed the basis for the briefing. So if confirmed, I want you to work with me to finally get to the bottom of what happened here, including providing me and Senator Johnson with related records.
You have that commitment, Senator, if confirmed.
Defund the police movement and other anti-law enforcement rhetoric has reduced morale among law enforcement, and maybe some of that's carried over to the FBI. I don't know. But what will you do at the FBI to help improve morale and increase retention of the brave men and women serving at the FBI or in law enforcement generally?
Senator, I think the answer dovetails with the mission set of the FBI. In order to increase recruitment, in order to maintain the force capacity at the Federal Bureau of Investigation, we need to incentivize police officers and good cops to be cops, to let them get out there and do the mission that they signed up to do, which is protect our community against gang violence, against rapists, against thugs, against murderers, and against terrorists. And I will prioritize, if confirmed, every resource that we have to make sure the 1811s in the field and the FBI staff are dedicated to that mission set alone. And if we achieve that with the work of congressional transparency, then I believe the retention rates and the enrollment rates at the FBI will skyrocket.
You spent 10 years in public defending. What's the biggest lesson you took away from that experience?
The awesome powers of the United States government when bearing down against an individual charged with some very serious crimes, some heinous crimes. And the biggest lesson is twofold. One, that the defense has a right, every defendant has a right to constitutional due process, and not a piece of it, but all of it, 100% every single day. And on the other side, there needs to be a measured action that follows constitutional due process and doesn't violate the civil liberties of those that we are seeking to hold against violations of law. And that balance is one of the most important lessons I learned as both a public defender and a national security prosecutor at the Department of Justice.
80 years ago, Attorney General Robert Jackson said something like, being a prosecutor is the most powerful office in the country because he's got the power to ruin people if you want to ruin people. You've probably been up against some of that.
I have.
Yeah. What you've mentioned, my time's up, I guess.
Yes, it
Go
is.
ahead. Okay, it's your turn.
You finish your question.
Well, you brought up public trust at 41%. So in a general way, without going for an hour, tell me what you're going to do to increase the public trust of the FBI.
Simple. Make sure we don't have 100,000 rapes in this country next year. Make sure we don't have 100,000 drug overdoses from Chinese fentanyl and Mexican heroin. And make sure we don't have 17,000 homicides. Those numbers need to be cut in half immediately. And the public will regain trust in the FBI and law enforcement once we achieve that mission.
Senator Durbin.
Mr. Patel, I have